Hi, my name is Scott Goldberg. I'm the Vice President of the Holistic Chamber of Commerce.
My name is Peter Ocasio. I'm also a member.
And welcome to Mind, Body, and Business Collective podcast. In this specific edition, we're actually going to be giving you tips and tricks for new business owners. And I wish I had a podcast like this to be able to refer to when I was a first new grown business owner. Peter and myself actually have worked together and have been colleagues for many years, and we both jump-started our business together. And we thought about the fact that, you know what new business owners need is to be proactive and preventative, and this gives us the platform and the opportunity for us to be able to speak to you guys, just to be able to show you exactly the trials and tribulations that we went through starting up a new business. This way, hopefully, you won't have those growing pains that we had. Just a little bit of background about myself. I'm a functional trainer by nature, and I worked in a corporate setting for about 10 years. I'm also a full-time school system employee. But I branched out on my own and started my own business in 2016, which became founded as Accelerated Fitness in Severna Park, Maryland. Eventually, my wife, Michelle Krause, who's a massage therapist of Vital Harmony, and myself merged, and we created the Holistic Center called Vital Fitness Holistic Center, where she practices therapeutic bodywork and massage, and I still practice the functional training side for post-orthopedic acclimation, and we also do a lot of elite athletes and run classes here as well to get a higher quality of life. Peter, about yourself?
Yeah, a little bit about myself. I previously used to work for the government, became a financial advisor here in the area. And like Scott said, we knew each other for quite a bit of time. And prior to starting my business, working for the government, didn't have any network. And definitely could have used some really good advice or some tips and tricks. Definitely one of the things for me that I learned very early on, and the Holistic Chamber being a good thing, is having a holistic approach to everything that you do. Part of that is getting to know the right people and having a really developed network of like-minded individuals. Which is one reason why we both joined the Holistic Chamber. And that's really important because there's going to be a lot of things you're not going to know, and finding those individuals that believe in what you believe in and that have those expertise in those particular areas are going to be utterly vital to starting a business.
Starting out being a new business owner, I had no clue exactly what direction to go, except I knew that I was very well skilled in my practice and I wanted to be able to help other people, and that was it. And so Michelle Krause, who's the president of the Holistic Chamber of Commerce in Severna Park, actually helped kind of guided me and mentored me along. And the very first tip I could give you if you're a new business owner is get a brain trust. And what I mean by get a brain trust is that you want to be able to align yourself with all the right people who are specifically strong in those areas. So first and foremost, I needed a website developer because you need a website to know we're out there. Secondly, we needed for ourselves an accountant and someone who I know I can count on for my books because I'm not math driven, and the back office work can definitely bog down you actually being the service person and the face of who you're doing. Thirdly, you need a social media person to be able to run, whether it's your Instagram, Facebook, etc., or Twitter accounts, just because you need to be able to actually let people know that you are out there. Those three things were critical to find the right people at the right time to be able to do it and to make sure they were well skilled in what they can do so I can delegate things. And that actually gave me an opportunity to be able to actually do what I do, which is go out there, meet people, let them know what I'm about, above and beyond that, and the videos themselves. But those three areas were completely critical for me. I handled a lot of the managerial and the meetings with those people, but again, just being able to secure it as well and know that I could trust those people and just do back checking every once in a while definitely helped me to be more successful as a new business owner.
Yeah, I would definitely say that sticking with what you do really well and allowing other people to do what they do really well is going to be extremely important. I would say the second or next most important thing for me that I realized I needed was support. Emotional support. When you're starting a business, it is stressful. There's a lot of things that are going to come down the line that you're just not even aware of that's going to happen. Having a good support system is utterly vital. It's just holistic managing your stress. And so whether it's family members, a spouse, children, making sure everyone's on board with what you're trying to do and providing that level of support, and having really good network. For example, Scott, I could go to Scott whenever I'm having issues. Maybe it's just a vent. Maybe it's just to kind of talk it out. That is extremely vital, because starting a business, you have to understand, is going to be very stressful, and it will affect even your health. So having a good support system, I can't tell you how vital that is.
Secondly, once you are aligned with the people that you need to be aligned with, and I'll get into how you find those people, in a couple of moments. Know your audience. I can't tell you. Initially, I started working as a trainer. I was working from 18-year-olds all the way up to 50-year-olds, and eventually you find your niche. And so what I mean by know your audience is you want to take a look at exactly what your service is or your product is, and who exactly are you targeting in terms of who will benefit from it, and be reaching out to them. When you do that, it's very important that you work off of relationship building with people, not just that quick hard sale. And the reason why I say that is that the people that last, in order to build a community as opposed to just be a group or person, you want the perception out there that you care about people and you care about the product that you have, whether it's a service or product, and that you're actually want to help see the person along and advise them, and you have their best interest at heart. So knowing the audience and figuring out what it is will definitely help hone in on that target group. For us, believe it or not, when I moved here to the new location at Benfield Road, my target audience completely shifted from being 30s, 40s to 50 to 65-year-olds. And I realized very quickly that Michelle and I work very well with helping people who are older be preventative about their care. So again, really take a hard look at who you work well together, and who I should say should benefit most from whatever you want to sell or whatever you are actually giving as a service.
Yeah, and actually kind of going off of that, a really important part of starting a business or working for yourself is understanding your why. Why do you do what you're doing? Because that's really going to help you figure out who it is you're trying to help. For example, my why was when I was in the military. I had a 10-year period where I had a close family member die every year for 10 years. And I just saw the financial issues that my family were going through, how unprepared they were, and how they got taken advantage by certain individuals. So I went to school for financial planning to sort of help them. And that really drove my passion. So the sooner you can understand why you're doing what you do, that's really going to remove a lot of the variables of basing it off of how much money you make, basing it off of whatever performance standards you're looking at, because you'll really focus on the clients, on who you're trying to serve, and understanding that target audience. So definitely you want to understand why you're doing what you're doing.
Next quick hit I have has to do with networking groups, and there are many networking groups out there. And what I've realized very, very quickly is you find exactly who you align up with, as Peter said, like-minded, by going out to networking groups. And there's some that are called BNIs that you have to pay for, and there's some that are just kind of open networking. I'm a member of the Severna Park-Arnold Chamber of Commerce, as well as the Krause Chamber of Commerce, and Vice President of Holistic Chamber of Commerce. Through those groups, we find like-minded people and business professionals we can count on, so I can find my accountant. Peter is my financial advisor. I found him through a networking event where we sat down, discussed, and got to know each other and had a one-on-one conversation about exactly our business practices that we share and our values. And once you find people with like-minded values and you realize where they are, like I'm very much a linear thinker, and so is Peter, very easy to work with someone who's on the same page. So you definitely want to get out there, and that's when you get a chance to be able to tell people your why as to why you're doing it, because they will give you 30 seconds to introduce yourself, and then take a look at the kinds of business professionals out there and your needs. And typically what ends up happening is you wind up exchanging services, you learn about other people. But just remember one thing, when you're out networking, it's not you're looking for the next sale, because it's a possibility that, for instance, when Peter gets to know me and who I am as a business professional, he might run into a client and say, you know what, you may need to see Scott. I'm going to refer you to Scott. And so it's not about that person per se, but it's about their systemic network of people as well and who they also service.
Yeah, when it comes to networking, the goal shouldn't be getting clients. The goal should be developing a strong network and developing relationships with people so that when you do have a client and you can help them, it's not just a matter of you helping them, but now you have the ability to help them in other ways as connecting with other people that can help them in those situations. So when you are networking, just remember, it's not always what they can do for you, but more of what you can do for them, and ensuring that they'll also have the best interest for your clients. So that's extremely vital. I know for me, when it comes to dealing with clients, anything I could do to enrich their lives outside of their wealth is utterly vital, because we do want to look things on a holistic approach. And being a holistic approach, it's never just what I do. It's sort of what everything affects the people that you care about. So you want to be able to have a very strong network with like-minded individuals that you can then refer other people to, and having a good understanding that they're going to really care for them as well.
The next thing is I wanted to talk about is uniqueness. You know, there's so many times I go to networking groups and I see 5 people doing social media. I see 10 people, realtors, a lot of realtors out there. The question is this: what separates you from another business professional? What makes your service so unique, or what makes what you do so talented that will separate you and put you above anybody else? It's so important that you figure that out early on in the game, and that you use that as part of your persona that you develop on social media, and who you are, and your platform on your website. You know, a lot of times what I do is I do a lot of what's called restorative care or post-orthopedic acclimation, which a lot of people don't have, which is my specialty is functional training, where I could take somebody who has, let's say, lower back injury and be able to work with them to be able to get them either pain-free or to be able to strengthen areas that they need that could have atrophied. So they are, even though they're out of physical therapy, they're not afraid to work out, they're not afraid to have a quality of life again, and they're not afraid to go back to the gym, and they can do things with a sense of ease. And so that became my particular niche. But with that being said, it's just always important that you reinvent yourself, and that you are constantly taking a look at your uniqueness, and that you show what your unique qualities are to other people.
Yeah, definitely having a niche is a very good thing, because it will help you specialize in helping individuals. I think definitely at the end of the day, the client knowing that you care is probably the most important thing, because there are a ton of all of us, you know, whether it's real estate agents, advisors, professional trainers. People really, at this day and age, with all the technology and social media, we're really looking for connection, and we're really looking to know that people care about us. And if you could show that you care about them and you're putting them first, I think that's the number one way to gain clients and potential referrals, and just having advocates for you. So definitely, you want to, whatever you do, you want to make sure that you put the client first, or put, you know, whatever you believe in, put that first.
So I'm gonna step away a little from the persona, the image, the having the right people for you, and backtrack to brick and mortar, and I'm gonna go with leases when you enter in a lease, because a lot of this is done up front. You're getting everything in order, and you're looking for the right location. Everyone says location, and that's important. But what's just as important is that when you take a look at this location that you want, you make sure you look at the lease, and you have a legal advisor, like legal should at least take a look at it and make sure that you are completely covered, that you can do the scope of your practice without interruption, that your lease has the terms that reflect what you want, your vision and goals. So this way you're preventative, because the last thing you want is for something to come up in your lease an incident or disruption, etc., and then you're put at liability as well. You want to protect yourself as the business owner when it comes to the lease. And it all depends if you're in construction. Some of you might be spending money on construction and doing a loan. Some of you might actually, the most favorable thing is get somebody, a landlord, to be able to pay for your build out, which is, as an investor, and just pay a little more for rent and go a longer period of time, knowing that you'll be sustainable. And so the less out of pocket money that you can put out, the better you're going to be, because you'll eventually even out. Because first year you're going to be spending a lot of money. You're probably not going to make a profit the first year, depending on your service, and just be realistic with that. But as long as you're trending upward, it's important. But it all falls back on that lease, and that you make sure that that lease itself is a lease that you feel comfortable with. So please do not sign anything you don't feel comfortable with, and make sure a legal professional looks at the lease before you go ahead and give that security deposit down.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we make decisions based off of what we know and our experiences. And sometimes the most dangerous decisions we make are the things that we don't know. So not knowing how a lease works, all the legal terms, you definitely need someone to look at it. Just be prepared. That takes a lot of time. So it will take a lot of time. If you're looking for something quick, that's usually not a good holistic way of looking at setting up a business. So you want to make sure you do your due diligence and get someone who knows about the leasing, the contracting, make sure you have a good commercial real estate agent and everything.
One other thing that has definitely aided me over the years is, like I said, I've had college students working for me as personal assistants. And I have them doing certain tasks, and I train them to exactly do the things, so I call them minutia, that I simply don't have time to do. I don't have time to run Excel spreadsheets. I don't have time to create documents and those little things. And it might seem like an administrative assistant, but there are a lot of college students that are out there and around the county community that are looking for a part-time job and looking how to build a business. And so as you have those tasks, you can actually create a list of, here are all the things I could farm out to someone else that are simply wasting my time and money. And so if you're worth $50 an hour, and that is your billable rate, and you are doing a Word document and producing something that you need, a form that you could pay somebody $15, $20, think about it in those cost-benefit analysis, and you're actually saving money, because then that frees you up for an hour that you could be doing something such as working with a client and making $50. And all of a sudden you've made, about $35 in that hour, and you're increasing your client base. So you definitely need to free up your time and guard your time, and having a personal assistant definitely will help you with that.
Yeah, when you become a business owner, you're a business owner 24 hours a day. There's, sadly, it's not a 9 to 5. And if you have a family, it gets very difficult. I'm married with 3 kids, and I enjoy spending time with my family. So you really got to take your time, and time blocking is a good way of managing your time, but understanding what's going to be most beneficial with your time, like Scott mentioned, that's pretty much the point of being an entrepreneur at this point. Before I used to be a technician, and they would always say the money is not, the farther away you get away from the gear, the more money you'll make. Same thing. When it comes to being a business owner, it is a lot about delegating. So find people that do that task really well, have them do that, and do what you do really well and what you're passionate about. That's where you're going to get the most job fulfillment.
So here we are with a situation. You now have your brain trust, right? You have everyone running social media. Your book's being done by your accountant. Website's all up and running. Yes, you have a lease. You have a space, or maybe you're working at a virtual office now. And the question is, and now you're building clientele, and you're a part of these networking groups. The question is now next, what for actually knowing who you are? And that is either creating events or attending events. I can't tell you how many times I've built awareness by doing informed pieces or seminars about functional fitness, for instance, or other things. Peter and I once did financial fitness, bringing balance to your budget, and invited outside people in, where he works with how do you balance the budget, and on my side, I'm doing literally balance work and ab work. And the point being is that going out to the community and doing events, and whether it's for the chamber or whether it is for your own business, will definitely help get you into the community and get awareness and eventually build those relationships you need to be able to be successful in your business and get your client base.
Yeah, I mean the key is when you're doing a business, you got to get out there in the the community. Now, if it's if it's mostly a sort of an online type business, it might be a little different strategy. But whenever you're doing anything that involves face to face, going out to the community is vital. And not only that, it really gets you to really care about the area that you're in. So I definitely think when you're doing a face to face, whether it's a seminar, whether it's just meeting with the client, it is important to give out the information and go from there. Yeah.
And so, with that being said, the last thing was self-care. You want to make sure that you actually take care of yourself, so you have the energy to go out there and give to other people. And with that being said, that means you have to block off the time, as Peter said. Business can run 24, I guess I say 25 hours a day. It sure feels like it. Yeah. And so you got to definitely have this demarcated times where you actually do stuff for yourself, for self-care, such as massage therapy, chiropractic care, whatever you feel you need, meditation, just so you can give back for others, or even spending time with your family, of course. So our hope is that these tips and tricks, which we have literally learned as we evolved as business owners, are helpful, and that you out there can hopefully, if you at least take a couple of these, pieces of advice, our hope is that you won't have any of the growing pains, or as many of them as we've had, getting to where we are today.
Yeah, and remember, everything we do, we want to look at it with a holistic approach, and you really need to understand what's important to you. For a lot of people, what's important to us is our family. So this is a 24-hour job. You got to be prepared, and you want to make sure you carve out time with your family, because that's going to be utterly vital. There's no point in starting a business, creating it, and then losing something else in that process.
So this is Scott Goldberg and Peter Ocasio from the Holistic Chamber of Commerce. We invite you to subscribe to our podcast as well. And like I said, we are here to be able to help you, to help build community, and to make you as successful as you can be. Have a great day.